We're tackling the age-old debate that has divided scholars, destroyed friendships, and puzzled the internet for years. No, not whether pineapple belongs on pizza. It does. We're talking about a showdown more epic than the endless GIF or GIF pronunciation war. It's GIF. Um, that's right. It's time for the Avengers versus the X-Men. Are you Team Avengers or Team X-Men? This season will put your allegiances to the test. It would be cool if that actually did matter. There was a game, Marvel Future Fight, and when they did do events like this, and they did it a couple of times, um, like you would basically, as soon as you hop on for the first time the event went live, you would pick which faction you wanted to support, and then all of your normal game playing would just like contribute to like a communal score for that side, and then whichever side, like both people, like both sets would get rewards, the event, yada yada, but you would just get a little bit more if you were on the winning side. It's pretty cool. The future of all mutants and possibly even the world revolves around our biggest season yet. Season pass. We introduce Hope Summers, the first child born after M Day, when Scarlet Witch said, "No more." She could be either the savior the X Men need or the uncontrollable host of the Phoenix that the Avengers fear. Which, well, he's not an Avenger, but I remember there's something in like this is where it gets really timey wimey, but it was either Cable or Bishop was like mad sketch of Hope, thinking that she would be the downfall of like mutants or something like that. It was either Cable or Bishop, one of the time dudes. Season rewards. Oh, not to be left outside. Wait, is that already in the game? This emote? I did nothing with this seemingly. And again, remember the very first ever event. I can show y'all pictures. I still have them on my computer if you are curious. Matchy, I think I've shown you some, but it was the symbiote one, and it was very like Venom and Carnage themed. That was right for it too. You can side with Carnage or Venom. You know what I mean? Anywho, Cyclops emote. That's cool. I haven't even looked at which one is the uh, ranked reward yet, but I will say this. So, okay, let's assume both of these card backs were black and white. On the design, I would say I would want this to be the one that we got a ranked variant for with the extra gold and stuff. But when you see the color, you're like, oh fuck, this thing's already got a lot of gold in it. So in that capacity, I almost hope this is the card that we get the variant for. I genuinely haven't looked. Just because there's more room for contrast in the gold. Like imagine all the silver here was gold. Anywho, body to lean on. Pixie, don't have her yet. I can't wait for her next week. That's what talked about it, Matchy. Well before Loki was added to the game, I loved collector decks, and in fact, the only reason I stopped playing them is because collector and his shell started to become synonymous with Loki, and I was like, ugh, gross. But anywho, an abomination for that archetype. Let's go. Now this, and y'all maybe have watched streamers who have talked about this. They might know more, being in like the creator Discord and stuff. But okay, move the highest power enemy card away. If you can't, destroy it with a rock. Now, what does destroy it with a rock mean? Is that just an animation where he fucking flings a boulder? Is he David versus Goliath somebody? Or does that mean it literally kills them and a rock appears where it was? And then secondly, does that mean you really need to run him in a clog deck where it can't move? Like where, you're like, so a clog and or Professor X, you Ravona. Ooh, may try to get like a Ravona, Goblin, Debris, Professor X. I don't know, but then that's still tough. Anywho, something along those lines. Also, he instantly becomes a counter to Blob, potentially, but you'd have to save him for 6, and then this. What's funny is this card was maybe one of the first data mine cards in the game. It has been hidden in the files for eons. In fact, it was like the shell that other shells would get, like, they would use his shell or whatever, like his placeholder text or whatever. Mockingbird is March 12th. Okay, that's next week. Pog. Spotlights, Momias, we know that. This is such a good week. Obviously, I really want Mockingbird. I have these two, but incredible variants. I mean, this is a he's finally ready. In what regard? Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, War Machine. This one's a solid one too. I mean, those variants are incredible, but it's like have both of these. And now I have her, but no variant, and then I don't have Silver Samurai. So this will be another tempting week. But the other card I'm super waiting for. So it's Mockingbird and is it Red Guardian? Like super want to be able to kill Draculas. Brand new locations. That's not actually brand new. It used to be in the game. Remember, I actually played a. This is trippy. Wow. Within the last week, I was playing a VOD on stream while I was AFK, and someone even either said I missed Krakoa or I forgot about like it was organically brought up. No, no, not deja vu. I don't think you said it because Krakoa was in the game before you started playing. But I want to say someone else in chat who had already been playing mentioned they were watching the VOD and they're like, "Damn, I forgot about Krakoa" or something along the lines. And anywho, let's see. Your first play here adds its power to the top of your deck. Adds so like hypothetically you play a blade right off the rip, you're adding it's like a better Chavez, you're adding like 3 power to the top. No, 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 not. But yeah, no, I literally am not deja vu. This is whenever I eventually have to go and like make little edits because the VODs expire. I'm sure I'll find it, but it's just trippy because it's like it's one of those things you genuinely don't think about for weeks, months, whatever. It's not. It doesn't come up in conversation organically or inorganically, and then it does once, and then it like surfaces again. Anyways, when this game, do you remember what this location did initially? Play Pixie on another lane and zero cost Infinite on Krakoa. Whoa, trippy. Oh my god. Wow. I need some setup, but so this location initially it was like a 1 turn ego. I think its exact text was like on turn 5 Krakoa makes your plays or like on turn 5 Krakoa takes over. And so and honestly, people hated it. People hated it, just like people hate ego. Although I think ego is like, it doesn't happen near enough to be obnoxious, and it's zany enough. It's like equally could be shitty. Um, I actually didn't mind Krakoa. This is what it's funny because we were just talking about Avengers Compound. People bitched about this and talked about like, oh, it's another obstructive deck. Now keep in mind, if you go back to around like March, April, May of last year, right? They had added a couple. It was like within a like 2 month period, we got Altar of Death, Death's Domain, Krakoa, Milano, a location called Plunder Castle, which was a location that only 6 cost cards can be played at. Um, and so it was one of those where people felt like Krakoa was another location that didn't let you just play the game. Like the death ones. It was like another obstructive location. And I like to me, I didn't like. I thought Avengers Compound was more of an obnoxious. You know what I mean? Like, and so when it eventually at the same time they pulled Milano and Krakoa. Now Milano was basically like the opposite Avengers Compound. Well, not opposite. So Avengers Compound, it sucks because you have to play their turn 5, right? And if it's full, you can't play shit. But it's not the worst because you can still play in it in turns 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 if you want to, right? So it's not truly obstructive. You can play, but it just, whereas Milano was, you can only play here on turn 5. So it was kind of awkward because it was like a sanctum sect. I'm glad they brought it back as a conceptual thing because it's a big part in like Marvel lore. Milano, Krakoa, and Avengers Compound. I would rather Avengers Compound have kicked the rocks, or at least them add the if possible. All right, caught up. I haven't heard of Prashan before. So yeah, a little history of Marvel Snap and locations in Krakoa. Utopia, 3 and 4 cost cards. You know what? That's funny. They were like, dude, honestly, Zabu probably still really, again, when Zabu first came out, I think he was a 3 cost card, but he reduced your 4 cost cards by 2. And I think the logic was, look at the lore. He came out in the Savage Lands update, right? So you have him, you have Kazar, you have Shayna. Shayna was originally a 4 cost. So I think the logic was you play Zabu on 3 and it'll allow you to play Kazar and Shayna on 4 at both 2 costs. But as we all know, that's not what they're going to do with it. They're going to get Spider-Man, who was a 4 cost card, and then Absorbing Man, and just sticky you. You couldn't do shit. Zabu's still very, very good. But I don't think anyone wants him really nerfed, right? Like, he's just been, he's everyone's favorite, one of our favorite doggos. So they're like, you know what, instead of nerfing Zabu, we'll just make a location where his importance is a little less. With a new set, tarot cards. You know what's funny? When the Midnight Suns came out, one of the things we talked about was like the tarot, because, it would be like, maybe not tarot, but astrology. Astrology. And like, for example, the Midnight Suns Deadpool card, it says the Fool, right? So it's kind of like Zodiac tarot card-y. I think they were like, you know what? People really love that. Let's do that again. So same color palette, and then this time just actually using tarot. Midnight Suns. Ooh, an album for the Midnight Suns. Fuck yeah. They better have Doctor Doom and Iron Man, because, all right. Max Grecki album. Spotlight Key. Oh, that's going to be a good emote. And honestly, hopefully more of their emotes are like that, where it's like, yeah, we want memey, funny ones, but also we want ones that like tell a universal thing. Like I talk about all the time. I want a emote that is like a how lucky, but for both people. I want one to be like, oh, are you shitting me? Like, no way that just happened to me. But equally, if I win because of luck, I would love an emote where it's like, or like I win a super close game where it's like, oh my, no way I just pulled that off. I want to be able to like non-BM, genuine, like, oh my God, I just, you know what I mean? Like, let them know that I know I got lucky. Non-shit talking, you know what I mean? Like, genuine, oh my, whew, kind of thing. So I like that because it at least is like, hey, I'm thinking, give me a sec. Someone's like, hello. It's like, dude, give me a break. I'm thinking. Dude, the Midnight Sun Nova is sick. Brand new variants, more Max Greckis. These are sick. Some of these are already in the game, obviously. That Scarlet Witch is dope. Oh, more drops coming our way. The 19th. Okay, I need to remember that. It's interesting they're not trying to line it up to the end of the year again, or end of the month battle pass like they did last year. We know we have a lot of fun building around these new cards. Okay, that's pretty cool. Interesting about Krakoa. That genuinely is. They just full out changed it instead of brought it back as it is. Because again, I think if it was brought back as it was now, I don't think it's received with the same backlash necessarily to those. Obviously, people who were around at the time will bitch because people love the bitch, and they'll be like, "Oh, y'all been sitting on Krakoa in the workshop for a year, and you didn't even change anything. They're so uncreative." The majority of the players probably won't even know that it even was in the game in the past. Let's be real. My thing is, if it came out now, a lot of the recent locations aren't obstructive. They're not limiting. They're not denying your ability to play. Which is the key reason why I think people hated it at the time, is because it came amongst so many other ones where it just felt like, fuck, we can't, like, here, fine, ego, take my, you know what I mean? Like, I can't play in this location kills my card, and then anyways. I think it would be fine now, but they changed it. Interesting. It's kind of like an American Chavez. That could kind of go dope with like a clone kind of deck, like Sinister, Brood, Absorbing Man, Iron Lad kind of deck. Yoshida's base. That's another one. So I mentioned the Plunder Castle, which was I didn't hate that one either. That one was actually kind of cool because the concept of that one is like only 6 cost cards. So you play the other locations and then you duel it out for that location with your 6. Sure, cards like Orca or first, isn't that cool that a card like Orca, other than Atlantis, like granted there's Atlantis, but there's now 160 locations in the game. You can't be like, oh well, Atlantis is one of 60. You might see it in 2 weeks. Orca stonks. You know what I mean? I just think it. Anyways, I did like the hey, we're gonna have to make a showdown there. And then of course, if you don't have something that can go big in that lane, you need to beat the other 2 lanes. But it was one of those. It's like it turns over on turn 3. You still have half the match to prep for it. So anyway, I like what was Yoshida's castle? I do remember that one too. That might actually still be in the game, right? I thought there was only 2 they'd taken out. Milano and Krakoa. Well, now 1. Oh, and technically Fogwell's gym, I guess, is technically not in the game. Did both. She's a dope character. I'm pretty sure she's Cyclops and Jean Grey's daughter. Courageous Power Periader, who was forced on the run since birth due to her immense potential. Please welcome the Mutant Messiah. Following the events of the infamous M-Day, Scarlet Witch, seeing that mutant kind was no longer and would eventually be entirely wiped out. That was until, for the first time ever, a baby was born with her mutant gene immediately detectable upon birth. Hope. Her very existence called the X-Men's mutant detecting computer, Cerebro, to go completely offline. I didn't know that. That's cool. The tale of her immense power reached the ears of many across the multiverse, and she quickly became the most sought-after target of people and organizations with both good and ill intent. Even fellow mutants such as Bishop. If I had to put my money, pick one, I would have said Cable. I knew it was one of the time guys. Existence as a major threat, believing that she would be the cause of countless lost lives. Bishop pointed to Hope as the likely cause of his home's dystopian fate and plotted to slay her for destroying his Earth. In a rush to protect her, Cable and Deadpool tracked down and whisked baby Hope off to safety. I definitely got that backwards. Cable brought Hope up as his daughter, traveling through the time stream, evading enemy forces which seek to hunt her down and training her in self-defense tactics. Isn't technically Cable is a Summer too, right? I can't remember. Through Cable and Hope and Cable's journey across the time stream, Hope learned survival and warfare tactics and honed her mutant powers to become capable of imitating the powers of any other mutant she encounters. Once she became fully self-capable of honing her powers, Hope joined forces with several mutant protecting groups, including Boom and X-Force. She's an Omega-level mutant, can manipulate the powers of other mutants in her close proximity, granting her near limitless potential as she may replicate an infinite number. She sounds like a just way better rogue, almost. At the end of the game, destroy the last card to get here. See, is that still in the game? Could that potentially be a location? To me, that's fine. That's fine. To me, my least 2 favorite locations are Mindscape and Dream Dimension. And Mindscape, it's clear. It's so far my most hated location. I just think it's so dumb. To me, if Mindscape was instead of on turn 6 swap hands, it was it did it right away. So that way it happened within the first 3 turns, and you had the entire latter half of the match to adjust. Now you can say, well, the way it works, you have the whole beginning of the match to adjust. But it's it's a card game. You build to now, yeah, are some cards designed to stymie big plays at the end, like Eliath, like Sandman? Yes. But at least it's built on what you choose to put in your deck. To me, Mindscape is so fundamentally stupid. I don't want to play a card game. Even if it's a short card game, that's what makes Snap so brilliant, right? Yes, I think Snap's cool because it's a double entendre in a way too, right? Snap refers to the mechanic of snapping and the gambling, right? The poker betting element, right? But there's also the element of like it's the games happen in a snap. They're quick compared to other TCGs. So, anyways, even though they're quick games, I hate the concept of like, oh, I'm only playing to just give you what I had hoped to do at the end of the game. All right, that's cool. Hope Summers. Whose kid is she? It doesn't say that, does it? I guess technically she's Cable's kid because, it doesn't matter. As Yondu tells Star Lord, he may be what does he say? He may be your father, but I'm your daddy. It's kind of silly, but it's such a great line. It was removed, I'm sure. Great Web. So Great Web is up there in my top 3, 4, 5 ish, and it probably would be higher if it was in the game. Like the thing is, Mindscape had, as far as I know, it's been in the game from global launch. So it's just like I've been burnt by it far more. But I hate Great Web 2. Like Asteroid M sucks. I actually lost the game stupidly 2 days ago because of Asteroid M. But here's why I don't think Asteroid M's near as bad as Great Web. The short answer, the randomness, right? Like you still have control, whether you brain fart and fuck up, or whether maybe the other locations don't let you play a 4, so it be. Hey, buddy, we were just talking about you. We were just talking about you. That's funny.